This video did not exist in your reality until you directed your attention toward it. The very screen you are looking at, the voice you are hearing right now, were merely floating possibilities in an infinite sea of potential until your consciousness collapsed them into this exact moment. Today, we are going to expose a fundamental misunderstanding about the fabric of reality itself. We are going to dive deeply into the true nature of the observer effect. I promise you, by the end of this transmission, you will no longer feel like a victim of your circumstances. You will remember your true power, and you will understand exactly why your past attempts at creating your reality may have failed. Tell me, have you ever felt that you were doing all the right visualizations, saying all the right affirmations, but your reality remained stubbornly unchanged? That is because you were missing the ultimate key. To understand the magnitude of what we are about to discuss, we must first establish the metaphysical truth of the world you inhabit. You are not living in a solid, fixed universe. You are navigating through a quantum field, an invisible, intelligent web of infinite probabilities. Every event, every encounter, and every version of your life exists right now as a wave of potential. Science tells us that these waves remain in a state of flux until they are observed. But in the spiritual and metaphysical realms, observation is not what you think it is. Observation is not a passive act of just watching the world go by. It is the most active, dynamic, and world-altering force in existence. It is the bridge between the unmanifested void and the physical world you can touch. However, the greatest deception you have been sold is the definition of observation itself. You have been led to believe that to observe means to see with your physical eyes. But true quantum observation happens before the eyes ever open. Let us begin by dismantling the greatest illusion that has kept you trapped in a loop of unfulfilled desires. The illusion is your reliance on physical sight. You have been taught from birth that seeing is believing. You have been conditioned to wait for physical, tangible evidence before you allow yourself to accept the reality of what you desire. But what if I told you that in the mechanics of the quantum field, this approach is completely backward? The observer effect, one of the most profound discoveries in human history, is rarely understood correctly by the masses. People mistakenly think that to be the observer means to simply look at a mental image, to visualize it in their minds over and over again until they are completely exhausted. They sit in meditation, straining their inner vision, trying to force the universe to yield to their demands. But the universe does not respond to your desperate staring. The quantum field does not collapse into a physical reality just because you are looking at a mental picture. The secret, the true key that unlocks your power as a conscious creator, is not about seeing. It is about acknowledging. Acknowledgement is a completely different frequency of existence. It is the quiet, undeniable knowing that something simply is. When you truly acknowledge a truth, you do not need to constantly check on it or seek proof of its existence. What does it actually mean to acknowledge reality in the quantum sense? Imagine the quantum field as an infinite ocean of endless floating possibilities. Every single potential timeline, every version of your life, every level of abundance, and every profound relationship already exists in this field as a suspended wave of probability. These waves are invisible, untouchable, and entirely fluid. When you merely look at them, or wish for them, or hope for them, they remain as waves. They stay locked in the realm of potential because wishing implies absence. But the moment you acknowledge one of these possibilities as a current, undeniable fact of your existence, you force that wave to collapse into a particle. You force the formless potential to become dense, physical matter. Acknowledgement is the ultimate declaration of your sovereignty. It is the precise moment when your consciousness stops saying that you want this to happen and starts declaring that you recognize it has already happened. Think about the immense gravity of that internal shift. You are no longer acting as a beggar at the gates of the universe. You are stepping into your role as the architect, walking through the halls of your own creation. When you acknowledge your desired reality, you anchor it. You give it specific coordinates in time and space. Consider for a moment how this principle applies to your daily life. It is here that the true power of the observer effect is either harnessed or lost. When you wake up in the morning and immediately check your bank account, hoping to see a change, you are not acknowledging wealth. You are acknowledging the lack of it. Your observation is rooted in doubt, and the quantum field perfectly mirrors that doubt back to you as continued stagnation. The act of checking is an act of seeking proof, and seeking proof means you do not yet believe it exists. But when you shift your internal state to acknowledgement, the need for proof dissolves completely. You begin to walk through your day with the absolute certainty of a monarch who already possesses the kingdom. You do not need to see the crown on your head to know you are the ruler. This is the difference between the desperate energy of manifestation and the calm authority of realization. The quantum field responds exclusively to authority. It bends to the will of the consciousness that dictates what is real, not the consciousness that asks for permission to be happy. When you move through the world acknowledging your new state of being, your physical posture changes. Your tone of voice shifts. You become a living, breathing anchor for the reality you have chosen from the infinite void. This brings us to a crucial revelation about why traditional visualization techniques fail for so many people. Millions of seekers close their eyes every single day, imagining their dream lives with vivid clarity. They see the perfect home, the ideal partner, the thriving business. They see it all in their minds. But when they open their eyes, they feel a deep sense of separation from that vision. Why does this happen? It happens because they were only seeing it. They were not acknowledging it as their present truth. Seeing allows for distance. You can look at a beautiful landscape on a television screen and admire it, but you are acutely aware that you are not standing in it. Visualization, when done without acknowledgement, is just watching a movie of a life you do not believe you actually have. The quantum wave remains uncollapsed because your core vibration is still screaming that the vision is separate from you. To cross the bridge from imagination to manifestation, you must infuse the vision with the undeniable energy of here and now. You must drop the feeling of looking at the future and embrace the feeling of remembering the present. You are not building a fantasy. You are acknowledging a parallel timeline that is already completely real. The ultimate form of acknowledgement is not an intellectual exercise. It is an emotional and visceral surrender. It is what mystics call the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Emotions are the magnetic force that pulls the collapsed quantum particles into your physical dimension. When you acknowledge a truth, your body naturally responds with an emotion. If someone tells you a tragic piece of news and you acknowledge it as true, your body instantly feels grief. If you acknowledge that you are profoundly safe and abundant, your body instantly feels relief and gratitude. The field does not listen to the words you speak. It measures the emotional resonance of your acknowledgement. This is where the magic truly happens. You must learn to generate the emotional signature of your desired reality before the physical evidence arrives. You must feel the profound relief, the deep peace, or the exhilarating joy of having arrived at your destination while you are still physically standing at the starting line. This emotional state is the strongest signal you can possibly send into the infinite field. It is a signal that cannot be ignored. When your emotional body acknowledges the new reality, the physical world is forced to reorganize itself to match that internal environment. Let us examine exactly how your thoughts participate in collapsing the wave of probability. Every single thought you think is a form of observation. But not all thoughts carry the same density or power. Fleeting thoughts of hope or wishful thinking are weak observations. They barely create a ripple in the quantum fabric. However, thoughts of absolute certainty, thoughts grounded in the deep acknowledgement of your true nature, act like a laser beam cutting through the chaos of potential. When you hold a thought of absolute knowing, you are directing a concentrated beam of consciousness onto a specific timeline. You are telling the universe that out of the billions of ways this day could unfold, this is the one that is real. But be warned, this mechanism works flawlessly in both directions. If you consistently hold thoughts of fear, anxiety, and worst-case scenarios, you are fiercely acknowledging a reality of suffering. You are observing the timeline of failure with intense emotional focus, and the field will obediently collapse that wave into your physical experience. You must become a ruthless guardian of your own acknowledgement. You must refuse to observe or acknowledge any reality that you do not wish to experience in the flesh. As you begin to practice this profound level of acknowledgement, you will start to experience a phenomenon known as synchronicity. Meaningful coincidences will begin to flood your daily life. You might think of a rare concept, and suddenly someone mentions it to you. You might internally acknowledge a desire for a specific opportunity, and within hours, an email arrives offering exactly that. Most people view these events as random strokes of luck or magical accidents. But you must understand that there are no accidents in a conscious universe. Synchronicity is simply the echo of the quantum field bouncing back to you. It is the immediate, tangible feedback that your act of acknowledgement has successfully altered the fabric of reality. When synchronicities occur, do not brush them off. They are the universe winking at you, confirming that the wave is collapsing. They are the breadcrumbs leading you from the invisible realm of potential into the physical manifestation of your desires. Acknowledge the synchronicity itself. Celebrate it as undeniable proof that your consciousness is steering the ship. The more you acknowledge the signs, the faster the physical manifestation will crystallize around you. Have you ever experienced a sudden, overwhelming sense of déjà vu? That strange, mystical feeling where you are absolutely certain you have lived a specific moment before. Science tries to explain it away as a simple neurological misfire, a delay in how the brain processes memory. But from a metaphysical and quantum perspective, déjà vu is something entirely different. It is a spiritual glitch. It is the exact moment when your current physical trajectory intersects perfectly with the timeline you had previously acknowledged in the quantum field. It is a moment of pure alignment. When you feel déjà vu, your higher self is letting you know that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. You have successfully collapsed a wave of probability into physical matter, and your soul is recognizing the architecture it built in the unseen realms. Instead of feeling confused when it happens, pause and take a deep breath. Acknowledge the moment. Realize that you are experiencing the profound power of your own prior observation coming into full fruition. It is a reminder that time is not a straight line, but a canvas that you are constantly painting with the brush of your awareness. We must now address the most common trap that conscious creators fall into, the trap of the desperate search. When people first learn about the observer effect, they get excited. They declare their new reality, they feel the emotions, and they acknowledge the quantum truth. But then, an hour later, they look around their physical environment and say, "Where is it? Why has it not happened yet?" This desperate searching is the fastest way to unravel everything you have just built. The moment you ask where it is, you are no longer acknowledging its presence. You are powerfully acknowledging its absence. You have switched your observation from the timeline of fulfillment back to the timeline of lack. The quantum field, always obedient, instantly stops the manifestation process and mirrors your lack back to you. You cannot trick the universe. It does not respond to your intellectual understanding. It responds to your core state of being. To truly master the observer effect, you must cultivate a profound sense of patience and trust. You must reach a point where you are so completely satisfied with the internal acknowledgement of your reality that the physical evidence becomes almost secondary. You must stop looking for it, because you already know it is there. This brings us to the devastating power of doubt. Doubt is not just a passing feeling, it is an active, aggressive force in the quantum field. Doubt is the ultimate anti-manifestation tool. When you doubt your power, or doubt that the universe is rearranging itself for you, you are actively commanding the field to freeze. You are observing a reality where you are powerless, and therefore you become powerless. Imagine building a magnificent structure out of energy, brick by invisible brick, through your positive acknowledgement. A single moment of deep, pervasive doubt acts like an explosive device, shattering that structure back into chaotic waves of probability. Doubt arises when you place more faith in your past experiences and your current physical limitations than you do in your divine nature. To overcome doubt, you must radically shift your allegiance. You must decide, once and for all, that your internal knowing is more real, more valid, and more powerful than anything your physical eyes can show you. When doubt creeps in, do not fight it. Simply withdraw your attention from it. Acknowledge that it is just an old pattern of the mind, and immediately redirect your focus back to the quiet certainty of your chosen reality. To truly integrate this knowledge, you must change your relationship with the physical world entirely. Most humans treat the physical world as the absolute source of truth. They believe that reality dictates how they should feel. If the bank account is empty, they must feel poor. If they are alone, they must feel lonely. This is living life in reverse. You must begin to see the physical world not as a source, but as a mirror. A mirror does not generate its own image. It only reflects what stands before it. The physical world is merely a delayed reflection of your past observations and acknowledgements. If you do not like what you see in the mirror of your life right now, getting angry at the mirror will change nothing. You cannot reach into the glass and rearrange the reflection. You must change the object standing in front of the mirror. You must change your consciousness. When you internally acknowledge a new state of being, the mirror will take time to adjust. The dense matter of this dimension requires a moment to catch up to the speed of quantum thought. But if you hold your internal acknowledgement steady, without flinching, the mirror has no choice but to eventually reflect your new truth. This transition requires you to step out of the passenger seat of your life and claim your rightful place on the Creator's throne. For far too long, you have allowed external circumstances to tell you who you are. You have waited for the world to give you permission to be happy, to be wealthy, to be loved. But the observer effect demands that you go first. You must declare your identity before the world validates it. This is the ultimate test of spiritual maturity. Are you willing to be the person who has everything they desire, entirely within the fortress of your own mind, while the outside world still looks exactly the same? Are you willing to walk through the fire of your current circumstances with the unshakable knowing that they are already dissolving into the past? This is what it means to be a true master of reality. You do not react to the world reacts to you. Your acknowledgement becomes the gravitational center around which the entire universe must orbit. Every time you consciously choose your state of being, regardless of the physical evidence, you are strengthening your quantum muscles. You are proving to the field that you are ready to wield the power of creation. At the very core of this practice lies the silent, devastating power of the phrase, I am. These two little words are not just a grammatical construct, they are the engine of the universe. I am is the ultimate statement of acknowledgement. Whatever you attach to those words, you command into existence. When you say, I am tired, you are not just describing a state. You are commanding the quantum field to crystallize exhaustion into your cells. When you say, I am unlucky, you are actively observing a timeline of misfortune, ensuring that it collapses into your reality. The power of I am is absolute and unforgiving. Therefore, you must guard your use of it as if your life depends on it, because your reality literally does. Begin to use this power intentionally. Do not say, I want to be abundant. Say, I am abundant. Do not say, I hope I will heal. Say, I am completely healed. Feel the finality in those statements. There is no wiggle room, no space for doubt. It is a closed case. When you lock into the vibration of I am, you are merging your individual consciousness with the infinite creator consciousness. You are speaking the language of the gods, and the fabric of space and time must obey. One of the greatest hurdles you will face on this journey is the human mind's desperate need to know exactly how things will happen. Your ego wants a step-by-step blueprint. It wants to know who will call, what day the money will arrive, and exactly how the synchronicity will unfold. But the quantum field is infinitely more intelligent and creative than your limited human mind. When you try to dictate the how, you are severely limiting the possibilities. You are putting the universe in a tiny box. True acknowledgement requires you to completely let go of the how and focus entirely on the what. Your only job is to acknowledge the end result. It is the universe's job to orchestrate the millions of variables, the chance encounters, and the invisible energetic shifts required to bring it to your doorstep. Surrendering the how is an act of profound trust. It is you saying to the field, I know this is mine, and I trust your infinite wisdom to deliver it in the most perfect, harmonious way possible. When you release your grip on the details, you free up massive amounts of energy that the universe can then use to accelerate your manifestation. Think about the times in your life when you experienced a sudden, miraculous manifestation. A time when exactly what you needed arrived out of nowhere, defying all logical explanation. If you look back closely at those moments, you will find a common thread. You had reached a point of letting go. You had either surrendered completely because you were exhausted from trying, or you had simply moved into a state of deep acceptance. In that precise moment of letting go, you accidentally stopped focusing on the lack. You accidentally stopped trying to control the how. And in that space of surrender, the quantum wave finally had the room to collapse into your physical reality. What you did accidentally in the past, you must now learn to do on purpose. You must deliberately cultivate that state of release. Acknowledge your desire, feel its reality, and then drop it. Go make a cup of tea. Go for a walk. Live your life with the quiet, smug satisfaction of someone who knows a secret that the rest of the world has not figured out yet. The less you obsess over the outcome, the faster it will rush in to meet you. You must also realize the incredible metaphysical weight of your attention. Wherever you direct your focus, you are directing your life force energy. Your attention is the very laser beam that freezes the quantum soup into solid reality. Look at the world today. It is designed to hijack your attention at every single turn. The news, social media, the constant stream of notifications, they are all competing for your observation. Why? Because the systems of this world know instinctively that human attention is the currency of reality creation. When millions of people are focused on fear, lack, and disaster, they are collectively observing and acknowledging a dark timeline, bringing it into physical manifestation. You must radically reclaim your attention. Stop freely giving your observation to things that drain your spirit or lower your frequency. Every time you refuse to engage with fear-based narratives, you are literally starving that reality of the energy it needs to exist. Guard your focus like the sacred treasure it is. Direct your heavy, powerful attention only toward that which elevates you, inspires you, and aligns with the magnificent future you are calling into the present. To maintain this state of pure acknowledgement, you will likely need to fundamentally rewire your brain. Your neural pathways have been deeply grooved by decades of reacting to the physical world. Your brain is addicted to the chemical hit of stress, worry, and waiting for the other shoe to drop. When you first start acknowledging a reality that your eyes cannot yet see, your brain will panic. It will sound the alarm, telling you that you are delusional, that you are ignoring the facts. You must anticipate this resistance and understand that it is purely mechanical. It is just old wiring firing off. Do not fight your brain. Instead, gently but firmly redirect it. Every time your mind tries to drag you back into the reality of lack, pause, take a breath, and consciously reaffirm your acknowledgement. Over time, as you refuse to react to the old programs, those neural pathways will begin to wither and die. New pathways will form, pathways built on certainty, trust, and quantum awareness. Soon it will become your default state to recognize the unseen reality first, and the physical reality second. Let us talk about the energetic signature of pure acknowledgement. When you are truly residing in this state, your aura completely changes. You stop leaking energy through neediness and desperation. Instead, you become a dense, magnetic core of attraction. People will start to treat you differently, even if they do not know why. They will respond to the silent authority radiating from you. Opportunities will seemingly chase you down because your energetic signature is commanding the field to organize around you. You will no longer feel the need to convince anyone of your worth or your vision, because you do not need external validation for something you have already acknowledged internally. This state of being is incredibly peaceful. The chaotic noise of the world fades into the background, and you are left with the profound silence of knowing. You realize that the entire universe is not something outside of you, separate and intimidating. It is intimately connected to your very breath. You and the quantum field are engaged in a beautiful, eternal dance, and you have finally realized that you are the one leading. As you walk this path, there will be moments when the physical world pushes back hard. Challenges will arise, old circumstances will flare up, and the illusion of reality will try to convince you that nothing has changed. This is the crucible. This is where your mastery is tested. When the old reality screams at you, you must remain incredibly still. Do not react. Do not sink to its level. View these challenges as simply the dying echoes of your past observations. They are the final waves of the old timeline crashing against the shore before the sea becomes calm. Acknowledge that the physical manifestation is simply catching up to the quantum truth you have established. Smile at the illusion, knowing it has no power over you unless you give it your precious attention. Hold your ground. Reaffirm your I am. The darker the shadow seems, the brighter the light of your new reality is shining just behind it. You are literally bending space and time through your unwavering commitment to your chosen truth. Do not blink. Do not look away from your inner vision. The universe is about to yield. Now, you stand at the precipice of a completely new way of existing. You now know that you are not a passive observer of a predetermined world. You are the active, dynamic consciousness that collapses the infinite potential of the cosmos into the beautiful density of human experience. You understand that seeing is not believing, but rather acknowledging is creating. The observer effect is no longer a dry scientific theory to you. It is the beating heart of your daily life. You are the quantum architect. Every thought, every feeling, and every deep knowing is a brushstroke on the canvas of eternity. The power you have been searching for out there has always been resting quietly in the center of your own mind, waiting for you to recognize it. It is time to stop waiting. It is time to stop hoping. It is time to step into the profound, unshakable certainty of who and what you really are. The field is listening. The waves of infinite possibility are swirling around you, waiting for your command. What will you acknowledge into existence today? The choice, as always, is entirely yours. But what if I told you the final, ultimate truth? You are not just a person existing in reality. You are reality itself, observing its own infinite reflection. You are the universe, waking up to its own magnificent power. To summarize everything we have uncovered today, the secret of the observer effect is that the universe does not respond to what you look at. It responds to what you acknowledge as absolutely true. Your profound, emotional recognition collapses the quantum wave into solid, undeniable matter. Thank you for tuning in to this transmission. If this message resonated with your soul, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button to align your energy with this frequency. I want you to claim this power right now. Write in the comments below, "I am the observer, and my acknowledgement creates reality." This will act as a physical anchor for your new quantum state. Tell me, what synchronicities or sudden shifts have you noticed in your life recently, since you started claiming your power? Share your experiences below, and I will see you in the next transmission.